This is not my first time playing The Witcher 3. Back before I joined the army in 2017, I binged this game for hundreds of hours, completed every quest, and now about 6 years later, I'm gonna do the exact same thing, except this time with updated graphics. See, as someone who has read the books and watched the shitty TV show and, has played the games multiple times, I am going to self-classify as a Geralt of Rivia meat writer. Alright, so of course this video is going to be a little bit biased, and if you're going to be watching this on TikTok, I think you should definitely check out my YouTube for the full video. Witcher 3 is one of the games where when you explain it to people that haven't played it, you really don't even know where to begin. You say it's an open world RPG, of course, but then you talk about quest design and music and immersion, and next thing you know, they're telling you you're not very fun at parties, asking who invited you and who you're here with. This video will help with your quests to get your friends into good questing. So let's talk about questing. Honest to God, I believe hands down, the quest design in The Witcher 3 is by far the best of any game I have ever played. I have played Oblivion, I have played Skyrim, Mass Effect, Dragon Age. Witcher 3 is really just a step above the rest. There's quest lines that can obviously change the outcome of the quest and story, of course, but something that really stands out is the attention to detail and the writing of these quests. For example, one of the early game quest lines when you're at Crow's Perch with the Bloody Baron, you find out his wife miscarried and the baby turned into some kind of monster and is hunting the town. In order to get it to stop and find the Baron's wife, you can either kill it or lift the curse it's under. And in the quest line, Geralt tells him to get a word out to the villagers to put salt in front of their doors to protect the villagers whenever they are starting to lift the curse. It's a small line of dialogue, of course, but as soon as I get done the cutscene, I walk by a few houses and I saw freaking salt in front of the doors of the town. It's such a cool little detail, but it really adds, a lot to the world, and it really brings it to life, And writing about the wife's miscarriage really hits home because you really feel connected to these characters. These quest lines are all voice animated by incredibly talented and authentic voice actors that really sell the quest line, and not a single quest I've ever taken has ever made me feel like I'm just playing it to keep playing to put content in the game. They are specifically in there to build the world around you. Whether I'm horse racing or slaying monsters, it really feels like I'm living in the Witcher's world, and I can genuinely believe that this is the life of Geralt of Rivia. The quests also have a huge variety of actions you can take to solve the quest. Some involve using your Witcher senses to find people, or killing monsters, investigate curses, or breaking into someone's house and beating the literal fuck out of them. Every quest is different and further pulls you into the world around you. And I know I harped on it before, but listen to the section of this quest line with Kira Metz. For context, there is a curse on a town caused by a violent spirit getting brutally raped and killed, and our job is to use a ghost lantern to investigate what happened and fix it.
They were everywhere, all over me like insects. My face, my hands. I felt them rip open my skin, then crawl into my stomach. They tore me apart, and I could not even scream. Have I not suffered enough? Why can't I leave this place?
Fucking masterpiece, to be honest. The romances are another big part of the story, and that's not just because I'm an incel, but because romances actually affect what quests you can and can't do later on in the story. For example, that quest line I talked about with Kira Metz, you have the option of smashing and getting some of that good, or you can choose not to. The sex doesn't affect the story at all, but later in the quest line, you have the option of killing her or choosing dialogue to save her life. Me, hating women, of course, I cut her open like a frog in the sophomore biology classes. The love of your life in the game, of course, is Yennefer, and if you go with her, then after beating the game, you get a letter from her that offers additional quests. But if we're being honest, as much as I love dark-haired women that can step on me and, with some big fucking heavy spiked boots, I'm also a Triss Marigold enjoyer. And I'm going to be trying to Riz Homegirl up this playthrough and just see what happens, because I actually haven't played a Triss Marigold playthrough, and I want to see what kind of quests differ. Maybe it's the same quest line with Yennefer, but with Triss Marigold instead. I don't know, but we'll find out. And a game is good when we actually talk about the music. Very few games get that honor. You have RuneScape, you have Halo, Doom. This game doesn't have anything you can actually sing along to, but the director of the music is named Marcin something. I'm not going to say his last name because I don't know how to say it, but dude actually cooked. Whether you're wandering through Novigrad listening to some melancholic tunes or in combat listening to the action chants, it makes you feel at home, I guess is the best way to describe it. You know, language is a beautiful thing, but sometimes there's just no words, you know, for the beauty and feeling you get from certain things in this world, you know, and this is one of them for me. You know, the graphics, of course, for a game that came out almost a decade ago are fantastic, and the enhanced graphics made the game look even better, and, you know, even better than I could have anticipated, to be honest. You know, the world is complete with a day and night cycle with weather effects to join. I can walk out of an inn from playing a long night of Gwent and see the rain fall in the village, and as I ride off for my next adventure, see that rain dissipate and turn into a beautiful dawn right before my eyes. You know, every different region you can visit also has a different aesthetic to it that complements the lore behind the region. For example, Skellige is famous across the Witcher world for its incredible naval powers. It is also off the coast of Sintra, where Ciri was born and spent her early childhood. Every time people mention Skellige, it paints a picture in your mind. You talk with the king's advisors early in the game, they say Skellige is a fortress that, you know, is very tough to siege. All of this dialogue to build the world, and when you finally get to go there, it is exactly as described. Surrounded by water, high mountains that make it hard to siege, a castle on a mountain that takes fucking forever to get to in the game, which is kind of annoying, but, you know, incredibly cold in certain parts. You're truly experiencing the world on your own account, and hearing rumors and myths about other continents sorry, that was weird, continents throughout the game make you want to travel there to experience it yourself. You know, the only complaint I have about this game is the combat can be a little janky at times and a little static compared to other RPGs, but honestly, it does a good enough job to where you don't even really care about it being clunky. And on my first playthrough, I didn't understand this, you know, but The Witcher obviously has enhancements that make him stronger and faster and all that, yada yada, but you are not a superhuman. You know, you're just a highly trained mutated Witcher that can easily be killed or poisoned or hurt. You know, what sets you apart is your knowledge on the monsters and how to kill them, you know, what they're weak to, etc. And your preparation for those fights really helps you stand apart. You know, for example, a lot of the contracts you take on, you'll have to investigate what monster it is before you fight it. Then you have a phase where you go make some potions or oils to increase your odds of killing it. It also tells you what signs you can cast in the bestiary to help you, you know, in your fight against the monsters. So understanding that, you don't mind if the combat isn't super fluid because you're not a superhero. You know, you're not supposed to dash around the battlefield not being able to get hit by anything. It is supposed to be a back and forth battle where, you know, you have to like kind of prey on its weaknesses and, you know, watch for its action sequences and then use your signs in the correct way. It's not just like, I'm gonna hit you a bunch of times and kill you. It's way more complex than that, and I think that's probably why the combat feels a little stiff, because it wants you to kind of, you know, like use the monster's weaknesses and patterns to your advantage. Gwent is also such a cool little side gig. You know, every Witcher game, Geralt has a new gimmick to conquer. Like in Witcher 2, Geralt was like a dice roller pretty much, and that was like the side hustle thing back then. But in this game, they're literally built their own card game that was so fun and successful, they made an actual card game that saw a decent amount of success outside The Witcher 3. Gwent is very different than traditional card games that doesn't, you know, and does require a decent bit of thought as well as a good bit of luck. But, you know, going to all these places and playing people in Gwent, getting all the cards in the game and taking part of the quest line to become the best Gwent player in the world is just an added level of detail and polish that only people that would want to leave behind a legacy would do. This game took an incredible amount of thought and resource to, you know, to make happen, and they did it anyway. You know, like it's something that not all game developers do, especially not game developers like EA or Activision, because or even Blizzard now. You know, Blizzard back then maybe would have, but you know, games now, if you say something is going to take an extra 3 to 4 months of development time and, you know, an extra decent amount of resources and thought process behind it, they're gonna be like, yeah, cut it, we'll sell it as DLC later on, we'll sell it as a live service, all this bullshit, right? But this game took everything, you know, it used every type of thing in their power to make a good game that like really just lasts forever. You know, like obviously there's an end to this game. It's not like, you know, a 10,000 hour plus game, but you know, all of the best things come to an end. And The Witcher 3, you know, games like The Witcher 3 are rare. It's not often that a game comes along that are, you know, they're not completely broken, buggy disasters. And when games come along that are not disasters in the technical department, they rarely have the greatest quest design of all time, paired with, you know, immersive world, great dialogue, hot curls, and cool monsters to kill. I think The Witcher 3 is one of the greatest games ever, and if you haven't played this game yet, I honestly think you're robbing yourself of one of the most enjoyable experiences you could ever ask for in the gaming department. Because, you know, on top of all the things that I laid out, I really just think it's such a experience, you know, that you only understand when you play through it. You know, obviously you can watch the reviews, you can watch this video and appreciate the beauty that is The Witcher 3, but you know, you don't really understand until you play it. You know, you have an extra level of appreciation. But I'm going to stop my rant now. Thanks for watching, guys. Sub to the channel to get more videos like this. I am a newer channel, so obviously, you know, liking the video will help with the algorithm a lot. Subscribing obviously helps the algorithm a lot. But yeah, just let me know what kind of videos you guys want to see in the future. If there's something that, you know, maybe I haven't thought of, I could make a video on. I want to make videos I'm passionate about. You know, I want to make videos that means something to me. So like, for example, I have like a Ted Lasso video coming out pretty soon, because I think Ted Lasso is one of the best shows ever written, and I'm just excited to make something like that. So guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next one. Peace.